If you don't love yourself, you will never expect the type of love and respect you deserve from others. And if you don't expect that love, you will never take the actions needed to get it. Resentment is created when one is unable to allow themselves to do the things that they desire most. We resent others due to the limits we place on ourselves. We are all vulnerable, but we tell ourselves that we are not. Until we free ourselves of this idea, we will never truly love another. You become okay with not having too much. Overindulgence is a compensation when the future is dim. Television, movies, internet, and social media have informed and taught us all what love of another person is supposed to be. How this has distorted our perceptions and caused us to expect things that will never come, things we will spend a lifetime trying to attain. If only they taught us that love is about the complete and utter acknowledgement of oneself. Until we deeply know that, we will be at the whim of daily images. You are the eye in which the universe is viewing the world, and it looks spectacular. Creativity is a tension between your subjective views and the constraints of objective reality. You are always dancing the tightrope and discovering how far you can push the boundaries. Contemplation means to look into, to stare into, to gaze into. When we contemplate, we stare deeper into that which we already know. We traverse the levels of reality that we are accustomed to, a journey through the infinite. And when we perish from this material world, a return is set up for the great unknown and that which propagates all. Fight or flight, like the experience of a rat in the maze, pressed against the wall. With nowhere to go, the rat has only two choices: conflict or run for the hills. Similarly, when we provide ourselves with little options and put ourselves in a corner, we will often feel like we can only run from decision making or dive headfirst into a disastrous situation. Keeping options open means keeping ourselves out of a corner. It is not merely enough to try and be in the moment. One must have a reason for being in that moment and not trying to chase the sequential thing. One must view the moment as a minute fraction of the great totality that is life, that it must be savored as opposed to thrown away as just another passing instance. Just because you can do something does not mean you should do that thing. Do not let the past determine the person you are. Do not be the dog that is wagged by its own tail. Instead, allow your present to determine the past, and that the choices you make now reshape the history of your life. One cannot possess complete knowledge of the universe, and therefore cannot know all that is to be known. But one can have near complete knowledge about oneself, and in a sense, this is what is meant by knowledge of truth, that being one's individualistic truth. The thing which you have been focused on is just a passing phenomenon of experience. It is a transient object and nothing more. The only thing that is making it relevant and meaningful is your mind. Outside of your mind, the object is neutral. It is meaningless. Detach from that thing which is occupying your mental space and allow it to drift away. Notice how it changes. Notice how it becomes just one of an infinite number of other things in the universe. That thing has gone from being all that matters to something that has been lost in the vastness of space. One cannot always be. One must lose themselves in the non-being in order to see the complete fullness of being. By coming to peace with your past and everything that has happened, you shape the greatest river, one that leads to your illustrious future. We are self-conscious beings who must relearn how to live without being conscious of ourselves. Life is a streaming river. You're not exactly sure where it is leading, but you float along and trust the flow by saying yes to each instant. Who has said that they have been within themselves? Who believes that they have explored what is hidden beneath? We are always attempting to sweep the most terrible things to the side, but all this does is sweep us along to a place that we were never meant to be. We as individuals are a microcosm of the universe. In a sense, when we are able to explore deep enough within ourselves, we are, in turn, allowed to explore the secrets of that universe. The experience of the individual is of central importance, that we know. The question is, how to promote that experience into existence. Why are we so afraid to be alone with our thoughts? Is it because we know to what depths it will take us? What better reason to keep ourselves surrounded by people, places, and things, the distractions of everyday life? When time is no longer the enemy, but the partner you wish you befriended so long ago. The reason it is called fate is because your conscious willing is diverting yourself from what is true. But when you come to grips with the self, you allow yourself to be guided away from what you had fated, and instead begin moving towards your destiny. And it's as if I have become a man born new, a person who is no longer a person by myself, containing another within me at all times. I am no longer estranged from the world, isolated and separated, with separation between subject and object continually disappearing and boundary lines fading. A constant engagement with that which is around me, whether it be person, place, or thing. A feeling as if the world is speaking to me and I am speaking to it, as if we are in a constant dialogue aiming towards only the highest of things. My vision is bathed in an internal light of speckles and dust, allowing me to penetrate to the deepest depths of all that lies around me. The living world is outside me, but yet also within me, and we are growing and evolving together in a unified harmony of being. The time of estrangement is over, and the period of accompaniment is upon me. Days are now seemingly endless, while nights are just as infinite. Time is but a thing for keeping track of points on a line, but no longer a restriction or limitation. The understanding of unified being is well comprehended, something that came first with the intellect, but eventually solidified within the heart. The path has been laid out, and I am walking along in a heavenly gate, with the entrance behind me and finally traversed.